Have you ever sat quietly to listen to your heartbeat? Take a moment and place your hand on your heart. As you feel the rhythm, you may also feel an energy in this space. We feel each other's energy when we tune into ourselves. Research led by the University College of London's Division of Psychological and Language Sciences found that the physiological synchrony in an audience during a performance was strong enough to overcome social group differences and engage the audience as a whole. Perhaps you felt connected to a performer or an audience during a play or a musical, a music concert, a sports event, in an assembly, or even in a classroom. Today in this space, as we listen to the speakers and their stories, we are all connected. To thrive, we need to feel connected to others, to have a sense of belonging. As a young student, I did not often feel connected to my teachers, and I did not usually thrive academically. And because of these poor relationships, poor connections with my teachers, it had a lasting impact. Feeling like you do not belong in a classroom is something that no student should ever experience. That is why I became a teacher. I really wanted to make a positive impact on my students' learning experience. Over these past 25 years, I've been fortunate enough to cultivate countless stories and memories with my students to make my heart burst. My career and my students are the heartbeat of my day-to-day. My journey as a teacher began in 1997, but my direction became clear to me in 2003. I see this time as a touchstone, a turning point, a discovery of who I am in this world and the world around me. I recognize this time as the most important time in my career. It is when I realized the fleetingness and the importance of connecting with my students. When 7 bright souls were taken from this earth. February 1st, 2003, in Connaught Creek Valley, Revelstoke, British Columbia, Ben, Marissa, Daniel, Scott, Alex, Jeff, and Michael were taken in a tragic avalanche. My grade 10 students, 6 boys and 1 girl, all 15 years old. A tragic loss. I think about these students every single day. I think of the 7 survivors. I think of their families. I think of the school community, their entire class, and the faculty. Connections forever gone. It was my 6th year of teaching, and I taught the students the day before they left on their school trip. Grade 10 French. The students were practicing for their French interviews, where they prepared to talk about their passions, their fears, and their future. Those conversations still replay in my mind. Alex, always with a bag of cheddar goldfish in hand. He was so excited about his upcoming performance as lead in the musical Guys and Dolls. He wasn't sure if he should go on the trip because he wanted to stay behind and rehearse. But he had never done anything like this before, so he wanted to try something new. Michael always showed up late, a little frazzled, never prepared. I appreciate his charisma and exuberance. But no matter what, he was always able to perform. Marissa, small but mighty, a dancer, an athlete, an academic. She was the only girl going on this trip, but she didn't mind one little bit. When I think about Marissa, I think about the importance of standing just as tall as the largest personality in a room. Ben was new to this school. He had only been there for 6 months. He was very shy, but he took a lot of risks and made a lot of friends because of that. He expressed so much gratitude for being a part of the school community and was so proud to wear the #1 dress. Daniel was a free spirit. He never set into a mold. Every year he rode his unicycle while everybody else ran the Terry Fox run. Scott, he was always surrounded by people. He was a musician, a great storyteller. Scott was probably the most inclusive student I'd ever met. When I think about Scott, I'm reminded that regardless if I share commonalities with others, to be open-minded is through different perspectives that we learn and grow. Jeff was passionate about basketball. He was away an awful lot. So much he wasn't sure if he should go because he didn't want to miss any more classes. But he made a commitment, so he decided that he would go ahead. I carry my interactions with these students beyond the classroom. During a car ride, a run, hiking with my dogs, traveling and beyond. As an educator, as a human, this tragedy and these bright souls remind me that it is the ability to connect that creates the most impactful relationships. I have learned so much from all of my students over the past 25 years. Whether we were on a safari in South Africa, building a health center in Costa Rica, or homeless shelters in Peru, while coaching a ski team, a basketball team, or a field hockey team, or helping behind the scenes of a musical or a play. Sitting in a dorm, helping my students with their homework, or wiping away the tears of my advisees over a test gone wrong or a terrible breakup. Every one of these connections, every one of these moments that I've had with my students have helped me learn and grow, and they have meant the world to me. Every day, teachers need to have courage to show up, to be vulnerable, and to make connections. Sometimes those connections make our heart burst out of joy, or sometimes they break our heart into a million pieces. I realize that every student has their own story. And when they come to campus, when they go to class, they carry that story with them. Some may feel homesick. Some may feel lonely or depressed. Some may feel stressed that they're not meeting the expectations of their parents or their teachers. Some may feel invisible. Some may be grieving the loss of a friend, while others may feel the happiest and safest they've ever felt before. I feel that energy as soon as my students walk into my classroom. The connections I make with them at the very beginning set the tone for the learning that day and beyond. I truly believe the reading, writing, and listening skills will progress best when I reach my students on a level of personal care and connection first, and then on an academic level. Over these weeks, months, and years, we have all experienced disconnect and great loss. We've done our best through Zoom classes and meetings. We've had to make compromises, but it was very difficult since we weren't able to truly connect in person. As an educator, the rhythm of my days were enriched by the opportunities I had to connect, to interact with my students and feel their energy. We're finally making our way back to human interaction, where we can connect, revive the power of connection, a sense of belonging, a feeling, an energy that we lost during our time of isolation. To connect is to care. We all need to feel connected to someone or something. That is what gives us purpose. Surely hasn't been easy for a lot of us since the pandemic, maybe even a little awkward. But we need to do it. So what do we do when we're feeling disconnected? It's as simple as making eye contact, smiling at each other, actively listening, giving a hug, inviting others into our space, whether it's a conversation or a meal or simply sitting beside someone. It is not easy. It takes courage to connect. But I'm asking you to do so anyway. As students on this campus, your interactions and your energy make a huge impact on each other. Your willingness to be vulnerable and connect beyond your circle of friends increases the rate of willingness amongst others. And that gives our community an opportunity to thrive. The lessons I've learned from Ben, Scott, Marissa, Daniel, Alex, Jeff, and Marissa are echoed by all of my students. I am constantly reminded to smile and be kind, to be grateful, to work hard, to have courage, to connect, and to tell my story. Connections make life meaningful. They give us a chance to thrive. Gratitude, courage, kindness, grit, and joy all lead to connection. Connection is contagious. So that means we can all thrive together if we're willing to be vulnerable and connect. So I ask you, what will you do in the next few days, weeks, months, and beyond to connect, to make your heart beat a little more in tune with others?